Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm here to break down the All-Star race at Bristol Motor Speedway tonight. Wednesday night NASCAR. It's different than normal races. There's only going to be 20 drivers in the race, not the normal 36 to 40. This is a race where there's no points. It's the first place gets $1 million, and it's basically a free-for-all. There's no points. This doesn't affect anything of the season. It's just first place gets $1 million, everyone else gets zero. So it's just like any other all-star event for other sports like the NBA, NFL. There's, I guess, a different prize with it, but it still just doesn't really affect anything this season. So I wouldn't play a lot on DraftKings or FanDuel or whatever you play tonight. It's kind of going to be a crapshoot. I'm expecting a lot of crashes. I'm expecting there to, honestly, probably someone we don't expect is going to win this race. But I still think there's some strategy to go into, and I think that's more of what I'm going to go in on this video, more instead of like driver by driver like usual. This video is going to be a little shorter. It's just going to be more about the strategy of how you want to build lineups, how I think things are going to work out in this race. But before we get into it, make sure to hit that like button, hit that thumbs up, turn on the notification bell. Subscribe to the channel if you've been here a while. All those things really help me out, really help me grow the channel. I've been getting some steady growth recently, and I want to continue that up. We got this week in the All-Star race, then we got, tonight's the All-Star race, but then this weekend we have Texas, where we have, I know we have at least, we do have races for all three series, so I'll have videos out for all of that. If you want to subscribe to my Patreon, I'll put that in the description below as well. And if you're into other sports like NBA, which is coming right back up, and NFL, I'll be doing videos for content for that. I'm really excited about the NBA. I've been working on my models all week, getting them all refreshed up for the season or for the restart of the season. So I'm really excited for NBA to be back. We're making videos every single day, getting up early in the morning because games start early. If you're interested in that, you should stick around. If you're just interested in NASCAR, you should stick around. I got great content, especially for the other series. Let's get into it. All right, so the All-Star race this year, past All-Star races have been at Charlotte. This is the first time it's at Bristol, so I don't really want to go back and look at the data. I've looked at it, but it's nothing that I think is really important from the past All-Star races that you're going to put into Bristol. It's a new track. They're completely different tracks. Nothing similar all about them. So this is a race where I think it's important to look at the past history for Bristol, but I just don't think that, this is a race, there's only 140 laps, there's not a ton of dominator points up in the air, and I kind of expect there to just be a ton of different lap leaders. If you don't know anything about this race, there's a new cone lineup strategy, or restarting strategy, I guess, so you can choose your lanes. So, obviously probably the first 2 or 3 drivers are going to pick the preferred lane, but then you get back to like 6th, 7th, and 8th, where they could be 3 or 5 lanes back, or they could just jump up to the front lane. And if they can have a restart on like one of those worst spots, that could just boost them to the lead. So there's just a lot of stuff that can really happen. I just don't expect there to be one complete dominator in this race. And if there is, you're going to need them in your lineup if you want to win anything, but I just don't think that's the way it's going to go. So I think this is a race where you're going to want to chase place differential. Now, I said there's 20 drivers in this race, but on here there's only 16. Now that's because before the All-Star race there's it's called the Open. It's basically a qualifying race, I guess. There's 3 stages in the race. It's all the drivers who aren't in this field, and to get in this field you needed to win a race last year, I think, be a past champion and a past winner of the All-Star race. I think that's the criteria for making this race. But anyway, so there's going to be 3 stages in that Open race. The winners of each stage are going to get in, and then whoever wins the fan vote is going to get in. Like whichever car that hasn't wrecked or who did not win a stage that has the most amount of fan votes is going to get in, which they've been voting for that for like a month now, I think. So the winner of that will also get in. So there's going to be 4 extra drivers, but those 4 drivers are going to start 17th through 20th, and none of them are going to be expensive. Like the most expensive guy on DraftKings, I believe, is Clint Boyer, who's not already in the field, and he's really not that pricey. And in all honesty, and those guys are going to be low owned because there's really only going to be about 20 to 30 minutes between races. So for the most part, people are not going to go in between races and just change out their lineups. So that's going to be a way to get different from the field, and I think it might be the optimal way to go anyway. So I think this is a race where if you wanted to put all 4 drivers that come out of the Open into your lineup, I wouldn't hate it. You're going to have 17, 18, 19, 20, and for the most part, people are going to probably play Eric Jones. Denny Hamlin's going to be super chalky, and Jimmy Johnson all starting in the back. But, you can get 3, 4 more spots, place differential, for cheaper, and you can still fit Hamlin in. So I think if you want to go all place differential in a lineup, I don't hate that. There's going to be drivers that I mean, they're not bad drivers. Like, I mean, William Byron's going to be one who I could see getting in. Eric Almirola is one who could get in. Clint Boyer's really good at short tracks anyway, could get in. Tyler Reddick could get in. There's just a bunch of Bubba Wallace is probably going to get in. There's just a bunch of guys that I think that I think could do well here anyway. Even though they're not already in the field, even though they might not be the same tier. Although I would say Custer, Newman, and Haley are not on the same tier as some of the guys that are racing in the Open tonight, but those are all drivers that could like get up front, not really get up front, but just have a ton of place differential points, especially if there's not like a main dominator or two. I think that's going to be really key to have. But Denny Hamlin, I expect to be the most owned player on the slate. He starts 15th, and he's his 10,100 is second most expensive, but the salaries really aren't like too hard this week. DraftKings made them pretty soft. So, I mean, you can fit in pretty much anything with that. I think Hamlin, I mean, he's really good here. Average finish at 8.25 at Bristol, and an average position of 10.34 Bristol. I mean, he's just been good here over the years. He honestly probably should have won the race here in the fall or in the spring. I guess it's usually a spring race. I guess that was the summer now, but because of Corona. But Hamlin, yeah, he's been really fast all year anyway, so I think he's a very good play here starting 15th. I do like Chase Elliott at 13th too, especially to pivot off the high-owned Denny Hamlin. I know he's going to be higher owned than Chase Elliott. After Hamlin wrecked, Elliott and Logano with 2 laps to go were battling for the lead. They wrecked, and I mean, neither of them had a good finish, but they were going to finish 1 and 2 at that race. So I think Elliott is another guy that he's going to be a little bit lower owned, and starting 13th should give you has a lot of place differential upside. Kyle Busch starting 10th. He's a guy who has been rough this year. He's not been a guy I've been wanting to play as of late. He's been slow, but the one race he did lead a lot of laps and do well was Bristol. So Kyle Busch could be a very good play here. Only 9,100 for starting 10th. He should be low owned after he was 40% owned last week and he burned everybody. I just don't know why everyone played him last week still, but he was 40% owned. Everyone burned him, so hopefully people still don't want to play him. Ryan Blaney, 8,000 starting 3rd. I mean, he's really good at Bristol, but I just don't. I mean, in my opinion, I'm not going to play like a ton of GPP entries tonight. I'm probably just going to play a single entry or 3 max, one or the other. And Ryan Blaney, I mean, he's really good here, but I just sort of want to go for more place differential here because I just don't think there's going to be one sole dominator, and I think that's what you're going to need. But Joey Logano, starting 12th, is somebody who I do like coming into this race. Again, him and Elliott were 1-2 that race at Bristol. They probably should have finished 1-2. They wrecked each other in the last lap. And he has good place differential upside starting 12th. I mean, yeah, Logano hasn't been as fast recently, but I think he's a good play to have. Martin Truex Jr. has been bad at Bristol forever, so I just don't want to play him starting on a pole, especially. I mean, maybe he leads the first few laps, but that's all I really expect him to do, so I'm not really interested in Martin Truex Jr. Brad Keselowski's sort of in this range where it's just like, I mean, there's a little bit of place differential upside, but not really, especially when Jimmy Johnson's like a 200 or only 200 more than him. I didn't sort this by salaries. Oh well. I just don't know how excited I am to really get to Brad Keselowski here. I mean, he did win Bristol earlier this year. He'll finish in the top 5 probably, but Johnson, it's pretty easy for Jimmy Johnson to outscore Keselowski for only 200 more in my opinion. Johnson hasn't been the best here, but I think he's going to be chalky. I don't think he's going to be as chalky. I think Eric Jones is going to be chalk again. He's chalk every week, and this isn't like one of Jones' better tracks. So I think if you want to pivot off Eric Jones, it's going to be to like Jimmy Johnson starting 2 spots less than him. I know he's way more expensive, but I think Eric Jones, everyone's going to start playing Eric Jones for that PD upside. I mean, cheap PD upside. He's in a fast car. Everyone knows that. But in reality, you can play Jimmy Johnson, and then you can just play one of the guys that comes out of the Open who's going to be just as cheap down there with him. So I don't think I'm going to be playing any Eric Jones today. But Jimmy Johnson's someone I am very interested in. Matt Kenseth just starts too high for me, and he's not really shown too much speed this year. Kurt Busch, though, at starting 7th, very, very good at Bristol. If there's one guy, like he's in, again, that like no man's land of like tough spots to start, but I think he's just so good here. And I mean, I could see him winning this race if I'm being completely honest. So I think Kurt Busch is an okay play. I mean, when I'm making my lineups, I'm probably going to do a 3 max most likely, unless I really just don't feel good about it, then I'll just do 1 entry. But if I'm playing, but for Kurt Busch, like for my lineups, I'm probably going to do at least 4, but maybe 5 guys that all start outside the top 10. and then one guy inside. And I think Kurt Busch is a guy to target on the inside of the top 10. I think him and Keselowski are my two favorites to start inside the top 10. But yeah, I do like Kurt Busch a good bit. Alex Bowman, he's not good here either, and I just don't like his starting spot. I just don't expect him to do anything. He is 6,300 though, so that's interesting. He could lead laps. I actually wouldn't be surprised if he leads the early laps to Truex, but I just don't expect a lot from Alex Bowman here. Cole Custer starts 8th. It's ridiculous he's in this field, but whatever. I'm not going to play Cole Custer. Ryan Newman starting 11th. I mean, he'll probably just finish right around there if we're being completely honest. And then Justin Haley is not in a good car. He starts 4th. So that's really my plays out of guys in the field. There are some guys that I don't have on the sheet, but I can like Clint Boyer's very good here. If he gets, I expect him to get in. If he gets in, I expect him to have a good. My picks to get in to this race today are Boyer, Byron, DiBenedetto, and then Bubba Wallace get the fan vote. So I expect that those are going to be the 40 you're going to have in. But I think Almirola is one that I could get into. He's been really fast here. It's just Bristol's really not a good track for him, so that's the only problem there. But those are the guys I expect to get in. But I mean, just like literally at like 8:45, go look at your lineups real quick and see the guys that are actually in and like play those guys that start in the back, because they're going to be lower owned and they're going to be like really good plays. So yeah, but Boyer's really good here. DiBenedetto's been very good here in the past too. I think those are two very good places. I mean, honestly, if they get in, I might just play him in every lineup. And then Byron is just, he's a Hendrick car, he's a fast car, so he's a good play as well. Bubba Wallace, I'm a little more skeptical on. I really expect him to get in as long as there's a wreck in the open. He's probably going to get the fan vote. He's fine too. He'll probably start dead last. So I think those are all fine plays here on DraftKings. It's going to be an interesting race. Once again, I'm not going too heavy this week. I think it's just a race I expect there to be a lot of wrecks in. That's why I want to start the guys in the back. It's Bristol, it's the All-Star race. Hopefully it'll be a good race to watch, but not really a race I'm expecting to go too heavy on DraftKings for. Get really more focused for Texas this week and NBA and everything. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave a like, leave a subscribe, turn on the notification bell, leave a comment, tell me how I'm doing. Follow me on social media. I'll put those in the description below. My Twitter's @DFSNateLane. My Instagram's @NateLane_. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a good night. Have fun watching this race, and maybe someone wants some money.